Libra, this is what you need to know. I feel like telling you that no matter what route you choose, Libra, no matter which way you go, you will arrive at the same destination. You may have been contemplating how you need to sacrifice one thing in order to pursue something else. You may have been... Many of you have actually recently probably sacrificed something in order to pursue something, or you've given up on something where you know you were not seeing growth, or where the energy just feels off, or you either don't have the time or the energy to put into it anymore. So I think right now you're choosing what feels vibrationally best for you to pursue. And if it means not showing up in a certain environment anymore, hanging out with certain people that you used to know, many of you have already done this, and it's nothing new, honestly, being talked about in the spiritual community or frankly in the tarot community. But for somebody, I only emphasize it because you'll know if you've recently made huge changes like that. I feel like, Libra, don't worry, because the decisions you've made are the right ones. It doesn't matter, Libra, even I feel like the decisions you've made up to this point. It's better to have taken the risk to pursue some aspect of your life, even if it was, in your mind, the wrong choice. I'm not saying we're perfect out here, because we're not. We're not, and we're human, we're here to experience the human experience. But I think it's better that part of you staying in your integrity means I have to try to pursue a path, to pursue knowledge on my own, without the influence of someone or something. If I make a decision, it needs to be because I made the decision, even if it's wrong, even if it doesn't lead me where I think I'm going. What the universe doesn't want you to do, Libra, is stay in stagnation, being afraid to make any decision at all. So that's your pre-downloaded message for today. Let's check out, oh, by the way, sorry. This week we are looking at the art of MC Escher, and we're divining, seeing if we can get some intuitive hits from MC Escher's art. All the signs are getting pictorial, so I've just picked one for Libra for you, and it doesn't matter where you have Libra in your chart. Just pick it up where you see fit, or whatever you need. So let's take a deep dive in here, Libra. And guys, if anything resonates with you, if you like this style of reading, please drop me a comment, let me know. This is experimental for me. It's certainly different from how I've done things on, particularly on my other channel. But I like to, we're just looking at art, classic art, even modern art, and drawing and divining and getting intuitive hits from it. There are messages in the art, and this week we're inspired by Escher, MC Escher. So, this feels very Libran to me. We have the geese or the ducks migrating, and it feels very balanced, right? Feels very yin and yang to me. It almost feels like go where you're being called. If you're feeling called to explore your shadow, explore it. Don't be afraid to explore it. If you're feeling called to be the omen, to jump back into your light, maybe even be the crow. Libra, you've been misinterpreted and misunderstood in either element and either direction. Okay? People want to maybe choose to see you how they want to see you, not for who you really are. And it's hard to even, as a Libran, I am a Libran myself actually, to describe the process of being, the thinking process, the analyzing process, the logic process, because we are ruled by this. It's innate. Okay? When something is innate, it is second nature. There is no either or. Well, yeah, technically there is either or. Okay? There is black and white. There are shades of gray, but we like things to be kind of crystal clear. We like to make a decision. Libra, you make a decision. Some of you are kind of doing two things at once. But again, you see how these rivers are flowing? Where they're both mirroring, you're mirroring each other, Libra. And this is, again, perfect semblance for Libra, because oftentimes, not that you need outside validation, but you like to look for mirroring evidence of what you already know to be true, Libra. So when something is mirroring you, you can see yourself in it. It confirms the path that you're on. It confirms that you can trust your intuition where this is concerned, okay? Feeling heavy High Priestess with many of you today. Many of you probably are fellow tarot readers watching me as well. And we're just dissecting, guys. We're just experimenting and having fun with the energy. If you like the process, you like this style, just let me know. Alright, so here we see how the rivers are winding. And they're mirroring each other. What I feel like telling you, though, is that no matter which side you feel like you're on here, you're gonna eventually arrive out at sea, or you're gonna arrive at the same destination no matter what side of the river you choose. What's around the river bend? I'm getting Pocahontas. Just around the river bend. Yes. I look once more. Just around the river bend, beyond the shore. Yes. Don't know what for. Yeah. I feel like, again, Libra, feel confident in any way that you choose. We'll see. We'll see what intuitive hits, what more I get from this. And also, I felt the need to tell you, because this is very experimental, Libra, put your own spin on it. Just because I don't maybe mention, again, what you're seeing or what you're interpreting. I wanted to use Spellcaster, but the other deck is also calling. We'll see. It can feel very complicated. When you have to describe something, you're not so much describing it because you don't know it, you're describing your process so that other people understand the process that you've already arrived at. Libras tend to be, I don't want to explain you, I'm not going to describe you. Like, you either understand this or you don't, or you either are one or you're not. It's kind of like, a lot of times you know the path, you know what's right, you know what's wrong, you are clear in distinction of black and white, and you know the shades of gray as well. It's the shades of gray that almost like I feel like you have to describe. For some reason. To others, not to yourself necessarily. You already know what it is you're searching for, you know what you're looking for, you know what your plan is. The decision part, though, is doing it. Making sure things are balanced. How we toe the line. We're looking at the chakras today, Libra. You're going to tell me based on your energy at the chakras what the deal is. What's your deal? Okay? For Libra. Calling on the divine. Help me channel clear guided messages for Libra's highest and greatest good, please. Let's see what needs to know. What do I need to see for Libra? At the root chakra, we have the Five of Swords in reverse. I like to see that in reverse. You know, I think I actually want to read this one, Libra. because it's been coming out, and I wanted to read the book's interpretation. Libra, if you feel like, and this is part of the process, if you feel like you need to do a little extra, research a little extra, do it. Make it part of your process. Yeah, don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid to, devil here. The obstacle, don't be afraid to confront the obstacle in front of you. Don't be afraid to confront the devil. Ooh, I like that. I like that, Libra. Confront his ass. Tell him to kick rocks. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Libra. Someone, something, an energy, or it's just, Five of Swords can be, it's in reverse. Okay? It's an energy you're coming out of at the root chakra, which is self-sabotage. I need to feel like you have to be right to prove your point, to have the last word, get the last laugh. This could be you, or this was the energy that you were dealing with, Libra. Confront the devil. Don't be afraid to confront the devil. That's not quite the message, and we're just fleshing it out, okay? We're fleshing it out. It's kind of like you're working on a piece, you're mastering a piece, you're feeling very creative, by the way. But sometimes, in the process of you being creative, it takes repetition, it takes you just trying, just taking a step forward. Don't be afraid. If you don't have the answer, look it up. It's like a dictionary. You ever, maybe, I'm sure many of you were like this, I was myself. I loved being read to as a child, but when it got to the point where, when it was time for me to pursue reading on my own, especially a lot, or my teachers and just people who worked with me a lot on reading, maybe Libras, you resonate with this a little bit. If there was a word that we came to, we have to look it up. We stopped reading and we looked it up. If we didn't understand something, we looked it up. So, if there's something, Libra, that you don't understand, look it up. Ask. Five of Swords. Reversed. Reversed, the card is saying vulnerability, desertion, defeat, gossip, enemies posing as friends, abandoning a struggle, shedding old habits and dispelling negativity, letting go of past pains. Self-acceptance is won by moving beyond outside limitations and expectations to follow one's own heart. Avoiding conflict in the hope of fitting in. Yeah. That sounds like a Libra trait for sure, because we do not like conflict. No, we do not. No, of course not. We would much rather avoid it, not even confront it, not even look fear in the face. Look fear in the face and kick its fucking ass, Libra. It's time. It's time. Whatever that thing is that you're scared of, whatever that decision is that you're afraid to make, you'll never know if you don't do it. Just do it. Just do it. Okay? We're talking about looking at migration here. We have geese migrating. And there's a set. They're going in opposite directions. Some are flying by day, so the others are flying by night. And there's a different perception of you during the day than there is during the night, if you want to look at it that way. This could also be racial issues. Maybe. Some of you are in interracial connections. Or you're mixed, I'm getting. You're mixed. Because I kind of, as much as I feel energies pulling me kind of in both directions, the only thing I want to do is toe this line right here, right in the middle between these two. Maybe that's because I'm mixed, I don't know. But it's just, I want to stay center. I want to stay center on my course. That no matter which way these decisions or opinions are pulling me, I'm not swayed by this. I'm swayed by my path, which is center, going in the direction that I need to go. It might even be going against the grain because I'm not technically really, I don't know where these guys are going. They're going left, they're going right. But I'm kind of going, my direction is feeling I want to go forward. I want to go forward, out to sea. At least that's what it feels like to me. Okay. So, there's a decision you're making that people aren't going to agree with. They're decisions you've made, and you've probably cut a lot of people off, and they don't like that you have. They don't like the decisions that you make because it alienates them from your decision process. Too fucking bad. But there you have it. Oh, okay. Alright. So I'm not continuing the shuffle. We're just pulling from the top of the deck after this. I'm feeling the need to, again, describe my process a little to you guys today. 5 again. 5 of Pentacles at the sacral. Again, people don't like that you've had to shut them out at the door. Shut them out, Libra. You've disconnected. Libra is not home. Or Libra is home, but you're not welcome. And you've got guardians, right? Many of you work with Anubis. Your high priestesses of Anubis. You've got dogs, protectors. You understand? And yeah, when they feel you coming into your power, because there's plenty of light coming out of that door, Libra, I feel like you're inside. You're inside and you're not coming out. You're provided for. You have shelter. You have shelter. And in the past, this was you, right? This was you being turned away from people who had more than you in the past. This was you being chased away. And now, those same people who turned you out are being turned away by your spirit guides and ancestors. You're fine. Probably oblivious to this even happening. I don't even think many of you are paying attention to what's going on out there in the ether. in your absence. Why? Because you're not concerned. You're not concerned. You're literally not concerned. Not to be mean, but it's just, this is where you are. And now, because you've turned your back, essentially, people are playing the victim around you. Okay? Now, take it off of other people for just a second, because Libra, I gotta get real with you. You know, I always have to get real with you. Stop making it about other people. For a while, this has always been about other people. Again, we're blinders on here to the rest of the world. Stay focused on what you're doing. Stay focused on the decision that you're making moving forward. Okay? Alright? People are going to feel it if they already have been feeling it. This doesn't feel like anything new. That doesn't feel like new energy. But it is also saying that you have been struggling. You've been struggling. And people have either not known about your struggle, and that is the only part where if you didn't speak up for yourself when you should have, but you know what? It's your prerogative. Some of the pain you guys have suffered has been very personal. It's been very, very personal. And frankly, it was nobody's business what you went through privately. I feel people, or a situation where many are wanting to understand what you've been through, your process. There's not, even though these are not, they're negative, heavily negative cards, and it's at your core, it's at your root, it's at your foundation. This is also saying, though, what I'm feeling, the energy I'm feeling, is that people who have been on the outside want to understand this, but you are reluctant to let anyone into your method, your process, who have not done the work of healing this, or have not. You can't explain your process, Libra. There's some things you've been through that you frankly just can't explain to anybody. You've learned a lot of lessons over the past few years, past decade, I want to say. Many of you have. Huge life lesson. And some of it was part of your journey. It was part of your dark night of the soul. It was what you were meant to go through. And it was nobody's business. And you couldn't explain it even if you tried, because you can't. People have to go through their journey. And maybe they'll have some sort of a hint for themselves, and you're not meant to understand theirs either. It's just kind of like, it's not saying that no one's meant to understand each other, but Libra, you're a cardinal sign, okay? You're a cardinal sign. And when you know you have to scale Mount Everest and you have to do it, there's no one else that can make that decision for you. You gotta go and do your thing. I'm seeing the Two of Wands for you. At the solar plexus, we have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, again, no one saw your process. But there's some self-sabotage, what I'm feeling, Libra. There's been, because this is prisoner of the mind. This is being stuck in a situation where when we can free ourselves, but we feel incapable of doing so. But I feel you on the outside of this, Libra. It's almost like you're looking at what the process was like for you. So it's not about you regurgitating this. It's about you defining this for an audience to understand. And you will in your own way, and many of you are now in your own way working through that process of discussing. And maybe as you discuss it, it becomes easier. It becomes just a little easier to describe. Because people, I do believe, genuinely want to understand. They genuinely do want to know. Libra, your radar senses, you will spot a fake in a heartbeat, and you will know where not to give your energy where it's not really wanted or needed. Okay? I think you can spot the fakes from the real ones now. And you know who's only trying to benefit from your light rather than give to your light. Okay? It's kind of even right now. Change is occurring. I saw 555 right before your reading, so I'm not surprised to see the fives here. 8 is obstacle. 8 is karmic. Again, there's an issue at the solar plexus, which is our powerhouse that we're choosing not to see or we don't want others to see. You could have some heavy Taurus in your chart. You've been undergoing evil eye, especially if you do have Taurus in your chart. You have undergone some extreme evil eye. Okay, I mean astronomical. You have healing hands, healing touch. This is actually a gift of yours that's coming online that maybe you didn't even know about. That's for someone, and you don't have to have Taurus in your chart, but I am seeing it, and there's a steer back there. We are in Taurus season, so your new physical gifts are actually coming online for you, Libra, that you were unaware of. 8 of Swords. For many of you, this is looking like at your hands. For some of you, you have very beautiful hands. Just pointing that out. You have very beautiful hands, or your hands do extremely beautiful work. You see, you can touch and feel and sense what's going on with the person, maybe even just by touching them. Okay, you have been heavily judged and persecuted, and some of you were even in past lives you were burned for these things, for these gifts that you have. Much of the time when you were simply minding your own business. That's why you don't even want to touch. Again, Libra is minding their own business, possibly doing healing work on themselves, and doesn't feel the need to explain that process to anyone who doesn't really give a fuck. We are a little angry. I feel that from you. I do feel that. There's anger here, for sure. Okay, but I don't feel like you're projecting it out. It feels it's internal. It feels internal, Libra. It feels like, when's it gonna give? When's this gonna give? I need a break. I need for something to go right in my way, you know? 9 of Swords in reverse at the heart chakra. Wow. 9 of Swords reversed at the heart chakra. It's a lot of swords, Libra. Let's read 9 of Swords. I don't know. Now, to this, I'm reading this particular Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords actually recently has been coming to me as premonitions, and it's at your heart chakra. That's extreme nervousness here. Okay, now hopefully we're working through this energy. Nine of Swords. He's got his hands covering his eyes against something he didn't want to see. It's in the daytime, too. There's something that's been illuminated to you that's been very difficult for you to process. And it's just you working through your pain. I'm feeling loss here, too. Some of you have recently undergone the loss of a loved one, a family member, or this is, again, what you went through in the past. Okay, this is part of the process that you were going through. You didn't know how to work out your own feelings. There are no cups on this board yet. Okay, there are no cups here. You are in the process of working through your pain, and you can't discuss your pain when you're still working through your pain. You can't. Okay, it's something you have to just. And Nine of Swords is almost like paralysis. This could be. Sometimes it's attacks in the dream state, or it's a feeling of an astral travel when you haven't fully come back into your body. Some of you do have sleep apnea or paralysis, I'm getting that. It's a state where you disconnected from yourself. You've done numbing exercises to, sometimes you tried to disconnect from your current state, from the current pain. And so you haven't fully come back into your body, and when you awake, you think you're awake. In fact, you're fully conscious, but it's like your soul has not returned back into your body, and thus it feels like paralysis. Okay? So be careful a little bit with any substances that you're doing right now. Probably not a good idea. Okay? I would back off any substances right now, Libra. Nothing to really alter your cognition or state of mind at this time, especially from what I'm seeing here, if we are undergoing financial loss or physical loss, okay, those sorts of things. Nothing right now, nothing to numb this. Go through it, experience it. I hate to tell you that, but I feel also someone out there saying the sooner I get through this and just embrace this for what it is, the sooner you will get through it. And for some of you, this also looks like addictions. Maybe some of you are trying to quit smoking. Just do it. Just quit. And don't do the vaping either. The vaping is actually 10 times worse. Maybe you needed to hear that. Look it up again. Look it up, Libra. Something you may not want to hear, Eight of Swords, there's a truth that needs to come through. We're escalating now. Moving from 5 to 8 to 9 swords, Libra. At the heart. It's at the heart of the issue is this anxiety that you're just trying to process. Okay? I don't know who I'm speaking to today, but I hope I can give you a message here that will help you, okay? Reversed. An argument or other conflict needs to be brought to an end. A time of conflict or sadness passes. Taking steps to re-engage with life. Picking up an old fight. Past hurts and unprocessed memories continue to debilitate a person in the present moment. Moving away from depression or mourning is integral to health and well-being. A dark mood begins to lift. Okay, so I like to see that. I love at least to see that. So many of you will have noticed maybe you've been having more random fights with your family. Family could be, of course, your spouses or your significant others, but it feels a lot like family. It feels like family. Some of you have literally shut the door on some people here recently. But there's also been an issue where you're arguing over tedious things, ridiculous things, nonsense. It's not nonsense, but it's, in your mind, you don't see the point of it, okay? You don't see the point. Why are we arguing over something so ridiculous over something so petty? Why are we having this discussion? And again, someone or you are working through unprocessed trauma from the past, okay, that you're dealing with. It's just coming up now. Just embrace it. Embrace it. It's just coming up. Talk it out. All right? If things start escalating, then, mind your P's and Q's. Know when to cut off the conversation, or let the other person walk away if they do. If you're the calm one in this situation and the other person's kind of, a little bit more hysterical. So just be mindful. All right? Someone who you may have had an argument with, they recently, I think, walked away, but then came back. You didn't go anywhere. You were there. You were actually, I feel like you were very patient with this person. Like, maybe you have Capricorn in your chart. It's like, because we did see the double earlier. Capricorn and Saturn's going to make us confront our issues. And some of you who grew up without father figures in your lives, Saturn's going to make us confront our issues. Stop running away from what we're afraid of. Let's talk it out. Let's not be afraid to speak our truth about an issue without fear of judgment, without fear of persecution, without fear of someone turning their back on you, throwing you under the bus. These are the kinds of relationships, karmic relationships, that you've dealt with your whole life, Libra. Okay? And at this point, you're exhausted mentally, I feel like, for many of you. You're just exhausted from this. And you need to transmute the energy now. It's asking you at the heart. This is the energy that's being transmuted out of your life right now, Libra. Okay? Not that you won't ever know conflict again. Of course you will. We're human. Okay? But you're going to have a different response to it. It's not going to be this black or white issue where you go one way and the other person goes the other way. And you divide. Maybe some of you are divorcing and you are splitting assets, and maybe that's the best choice. I'm not gonna denounce your choice wherever that is. But again, I feel like you're having a different reaction to the choices that others have made, where they've gotten put out of the doghouse, so to speak. You're just focusing on what brings you peace right now, okay? And sticking to the decision that you made from the get-go. Wow. Your first cup. King of Cups. A person, by the way. At the throat chakra. We're speaking very, very, very lovingly to ourselves, to a person. Someone also loves you immensely. This could be a parent. It could be a former lover or a lover, period, that you have in your life right now. The person around you, this is who's speaking to you, or you're speaking to this person, okay? This is who's expressing a truth to you at the moment. This King of Cups. They love you, and they're very patient. They're controlled. The King of Cups is the most mature with his emotions. You're mature. You've learned how to process your thoughts. You've learned how to process rejection, jealousy, secrets, hidden information. Some of this stuff that you were just simply afraid to see. You didn't even want to see it. You didn't want to acknowledge the absence of the father figures that were not in your life. Some of you didn't. You were so blind you didn't even know this was happening. Okay. You had no idea this is what was the issue. You'd never addressed it before. At the brow, yeah. Magician in reverse at the brow chakra. I don't like that. I don't like that energy. I do see a snake shedding its skin, but the Magician in reverse, unfortunately, is never really a good sign. There are people or energies around you that have always tried to manifest and control you from not a really good space. And I think you know that, Libra. This is doubting our own inner power, though. Maybe even not. You don't believe in magic. I just heard someone doesn't believe in magic. That's fine. I'm not here to convince you. But this is, I don't believe in my magic. Why, Libra? Why? I'm asking as a friend. And a concerned one. King of Cups. Some of you are going to therapy. Maybe you need to. Maybe you need to go schedule a therapy session to go talk about this other issue. That, unfortunately, a tarot reading and me speaking to some random strangers on the internet isn't going to help you. But if it's just confirmation for you, again, Libra, then this is your confirmation. Okay? Could be dealing with a Virgo or a Gemini. Someone tried to manifest you, or you were trying to manifest something you tried to control it. This energy in the past tried to control even how you thought. It was subtle. It didn't want you manifesting for yourself. It didn't want you knowing your true potential. The magic is your integrity. The magic is your sight. Is you simply making a decision for yourself, even if it's not theirs, especially if it's not theirs. Strength in the crown. You have fought so hard to, I feel like, maintain autonomy, Libra. Autonomy. You had energies even trying to, I feel like, for lack of a better term, because this is just what I guess they're calling it now in the spiritual community, destiny swap. They can't. They can't obtain the magic. And if you were a true magician, you wouldn't want to. You wouldn't have to. You understand? You started with the Five of Swords. Someone who doubts who they are. If someone is that jealous of you, Libra, they're that doubtful of who they are and their own potential, they will always feel the need to have to control you, someone who knows who they are, knows their potential, even if you don't, the possibility is there. The curiosity is there. Magician, he's the first, goes the fool, then the magician. He's curious. He's inspired about life. Someone wanted you to lose your inspiration, your gusto, or something. Maybe you just flat out lost it for a while, and that's okay too. Sometimes you gotta hit rock bottom a little bit, and then what happens? Boom. The infinity loop happens. Typically in the tarot, the magician has the infinity loop above his head. Here he's got the lightning bolt above his head. You could have recently been through a lightning storm, or a storm in general. Strength also has the infinity loop over his head, okay? Strength typically has the infinity symbol above his head. Your magic is potent. I mean potent. Not witchy woo-woo. Although, for some of you, you might be discovering a new gift with your hands. Alright, Libra. Let's get some advice for you. This reading is long enough, I think. Advice for Libra. Ten of Cups. I'm seeing... It could be 2 guys, 2 girls, but it feels like 3 guys and a girl. You could have been like a tomboy growing up, Libra. Most of your, especially when I'm speaking to women, I feel like most of your friends growing up were actually men or guys. You got along well in the group. Or this could be maybe 3 generations of men who were supporting you at this time. Interesting. Seeing the turtle. Turtle. You're coming into a beautiful family situation. Yeah, there you are. Hey, Libra. Thank you for showing up in your reading. I'm glad you're here to clarify. Justice. Ooh, hello. I told you I saw the 2 of Wands at the beginning. Libra, there's something you're going to face head on. Again, 2 of Wands. The version I'm seeing in my mind, though, shows a person walking down 2 paths. Kind of. Justice is here clarifying. I love that. Kind of like this photo is illustrating, or this drawing. One path, the mountain is close, and then on the other path, the mountain is far away. The symbology is that it's the same obstacle, but one path is I deal with it sooner, and the other path is I deal with it later. Libra, I feel like in the past you made the decision to deal with the obstacle sooner rather than later. And that's also a message now, for those of you who need it, is to deal with a situation sooner rather than later. Okay? Don't wait. Balance. Get balanced. But for many of you, you've already done this. And this is what's going to bring you a 10 of Cups. Connection. Happiness. Restored within your family. Your family. I love to see that. And again, justice here. Balance between light, dark. Yeah, you don't think justice had to know pain. In fact, this version of justice, her hand was cut off. And you see this figure here. I'll probably take a photo of this picture. But on the side here, there's a man with a knife. And justice is holding a pomegranate. The pomegranate, of course, belongs to Persephone. And that's definitely about our intuition. But someone, in order to gain the wisdom of Persephone, had to delve into dark magic. Dark magic. And to deal with your shadow. Okay? To obtain the dark wisdom. Okay? There was a price to pay. This was a message for the Divine Masculine. The reading is actually on this channel. You will see it. It's a Libra reading. It's like a 3-hour reading. Okay, you'll see it. It's on the channel. It's a great reading if you're inspired to watch it. Understanding our dark and light self and the choices that we're making to deal with an issue. Okay. This reading is already too long, Libra, so I'm going to grab a oracle card for you and close this out. Your scales are higher than the pomegranate, which is telling me in issues of contracts and money, and it's on the light side, of course. You're going to see balance there. You're about to see balance in your money. Because you chose to do your shadow work. You're going to see restoration. Endless possibilities. Yeah. Possibilities are endless, Libra. Because you chose to do your shadow work sooner rather than later. I better write that down for you. Sooner rather than later. Okay. Hello. Yeah. A higher view. Could be seeing the owl. Maybe you're working with Athena or Hecate. And Great Big Love. I'm not sure if we're going to read both of these, but we saw a higher viewpoint underneath, bearing fruit. Your efforts in the past are going to be bearing fruit, Libra. You were in Hanged Man. You were in suspension. Nothing that you pursued, no relationship, job, opportunity, nothing was growing because you were dealing with your shadow work, and that's the part of the journey that people want to understand. That's the part that people want clarification on. They don't know what happened to you. You're finally at a point where you're starting to be able to describe these things. It took you a while to process it. That's all. And it was your business to do so, you know. Okay. A higher view, seeing from a higher perspective, conscious neutrality, letting go of judgment and assumptions, non-attachment, the ability to remain unbiased. Yeah, that sounds like what you've been doing. Sometimes our lives are suction cupped to the ends of our noses and we can't see beyond ourselves. This happens to everyone once in a while. We fall into an automatic response to life and react from a learned, conditioned place rather than one of awareness. Being in reactivity keeps us repeating old patterns. Conversely, the avoidance of our triggers could keep us in our comfort zone, policing our attempts at new things. The way to be successful in your endeavor to connect with others is to step out of your sticky perception of the world. Imagine yourself sitting on the back of a bird 1,000 feet above your life. Wouldn't your perspective change? From a higher viewpoint, you can see for miles. You can let go of naming or blaming the obstacles in your way, and instead easily discover a path to more beautiful and compelling vistas. More can become available to you in all aspects of your life when you're able to step back and get a little distance. You can wait before responding, be more graceful in your interactions, and see how everything is connected and every experience is a gift. The world is wide open for you today. All you have to do is move to higher ground, be mindful, and celebrate the spectacle of life's dance. On page 117 and 116, you might be seeing those numbers, Libra. I had a quote for you, actually, that I saw really fast, Libra. Let me pull it up. The quote is, "Don't ever let anyone who gave up on their dreams convince you to give up on yours. Don't ever let anyone who has never shown up for themselves convince you that it's not worth taking a shot. Don't ever let anyone convince you to give up before you even try. Your path ahead does not have to look like everyone else's. You can give in to what people around you think is best for you to do, or you can at least make an attempt towards what you want, even if it doesn't work out. At least you know better. You still have a long way ahead, and there is plenty of room for mistakes. Don't give up before you even begin." I hope there was a message in here for you. If so, please remember to support my channel by liking the video. Subscribe if you are new to the channel, guys. I hope to build the community around here. Become a part of the Apollonia tribe. Alright, guys. I hope this helped you again, and I will see you soon. Take care.